bro, that was wild.
I'm
Man,
not starting. I'm not starting from the beginning. So fuck that bullshit. Anybody got any thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
Fuck the NFL.
go
I'll probably
red
just
blank.
as a Cowboys fan, I don't care, but I think the names is going to be like Hogs because their front line's always been called the Hogs. The Red Tails, I think they'll go, and probably some other bullshit.
If they go
Outside,
with Red
like
Tails,
I
I feel like
understand.
they're asking for a lawsuit.
No, because a lot of people are with it. A lot of people's like I'm with it, and
I
also
believe the
like I know
Hawks.
I.
Hawks. I completely forgot about that.
Oh yeah, the
Hawks.
Hawks. Yeah,
The Hogs,
and
like pigs.
yeah, the Hogs. Yeah, the Hogs. I feel like they'll go with that because that's like people show up with the fucking pigs on their nose when they anyway. So on to our next topic, gentlemen. We have the choice to talk about either Will and Jada or Nick Cannon. Which way y'all want to go?
Damn, these are both good. We can
Doesn't matter.
talk. Yeah, we can talk Nick Cannon. Actually, we can talk Nick Cannon.
Okay. For
Mm-hmm.
those who have not been noticing, Nick Cannon, um, Nick Cannon has been fired from Viacom, especially for shows like because he ran Teen Nick and he obviously have a show on Wild and Out. The reason why he was fired because they were saying quotes anti-Semitic and racist comments about the Jews. Um, so, gentlemen, at the day before he didn't apologize. Now it comes to find out that he did. He apologized now. Gentlemen, how do you feel about this whole thing happening the way it did?
I'm gonna start off because I've been going back and forth with fucking Bud Light Twitter over whether what he said was racist or not. And see, the first thing I watched the entire episode. That entire episode was Professor Griff, and both of them was just dropping gems the entire episode. It was actually a really good episode. So it pained me to see that he removed the episode because despite that like claim, it was a really good episode, and they got into a lot of stuff. They even got into why Professor Griff, like when he was in a part of Public Enemy, they got into why their relationship kind of soured because basically Professor Griff was too unapologetic and it was looking bad for their brand. So that's why he kind of had to like take a step back and take one for the team in terms of the group. But he said despite that they still remain like close and tight and stuff like that. So I thought that was always interesting. But to get on to what Nick Cannon specifically said, even see like okay, so I'm the type of person where like if you are part of a marginalized community or if you're like part of a community, you get to like set the guidelines to whether what offends you or not. And if what Nick Cannon is said is anti-Semitic, then fine, whatever. If that's how you feel, we can't really tell Jewish people what anti-Semitism is and shit like that. Fine, cool. But here's my thing, right? Nick Cannon was saying that the behavior of the European colonizers that stole Africans from their land and spread them all across the earth, that killed and mated with Native American tribes all over the earth, including the Caribbean and North America. You know what I'm saying? They also did the same to Polynesian groups such as the Hawaiians and shit. That type of like behavior like is animalistic in nature because what other group has a history of going to other continents and just completely destroying the inhabitants of that place? You feel me? And that's the point he was trying to make. But he brought it back. But the thing that got Nick Cannon killed was that he mentioned Farrakhan. And as you know, America hates Farrakhan, especially the Jewish people. They really don't like Farrakhan because they say, once again, he's anti Semitic. But when you look at the definition of a Semite, these were people that inhabited North Africa, Northeastern Africa, the Horn of Africa, parts of the Middle East and parts of Asia. These were what were known as the Semitic people. So technically, it would be counterproductive for black people to be anti-Semitic because it'll be anti themselves. And a lot of people don't realize that because the the notion of being Jewish is, it comes with a lot of stuff. For one, these are people that were oppressed. These were people that went through the Holocaust and stuff like that. But what's so funny is when we want to talk about our Holocaust, when we want to talk about the African Holocaust, when we want to talk about what happened to the fucking Congolese when King Leopold was there, when we want to talk about the chattel slavery that Black Americans were subject to in the 17 and 1800s, when we want to talk about how thousands of indigenous people were wiped out of the face of the earth because these people were so unclean to the point where they were catching diseases from these colonizers. Then all of a sudden, everybody wants to make it seem like, oh, it happened so long ago. Oh, everything is fine now. We have equality. But Nick Cannon is talking about the savagery of the conquest of Europeans that roamed throughout the face of the earth. Millions of people have been affected. Millions of people have died. Entire tribes and peoples have been almost completely exterminated, and they want to piece out that information and then tell us this is anti-Semitic. It boggles my mind. And also to Nick Cannon's to defend Nick Cannon, I do understand why he had to apologize, but I will also say that his apology didn't even really seem like it was him apologizing. It seemed very, like what's it called? It seemed very like someone
Sarcastic.
typed it in for no, not sarcastic. Like somebody typed it for him. You know what I'm saying? Like his PR team did the writing and said, "Well, I apologize for my statements," because Nick Cannon, he knew that he was gonna get in trouble when he was saying the shit he was saying. He prefaced that whole statement he made by saying, "I'm going to try to say this as carefully as possible." So he knew that he was going to ruffle feathers with that. But because he's cool with the Nation of Islam, and because he actually looks up to Minister Louis Farrakhan, he got in trouble because of his affiliation, or at least his admiration of Farrakhan. And that's what got him, fired from Viacom and stuff. And even so, we all know that Viacom is anti-black. We all know Viacom doesn't even really give a fuck about black people anyway. And also, shout out to Diddy for reaching out to try to give Nick Cannon a platform to host his stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. That's what a code is supposed to look like, where we have our own institutions, and when people get in trouble in the white-owned institutions, they can come back home and still make money. That's a code. So I'm just watching everything that's going on over here. I'm standing with Nick 100% because they love doing that shit. Whenever black people are speaking truth to power, all of a sudden this is racist, this is anti-Semitic. But when they're saying bullshit, when Ben Shapiro was disrespecting the Trayvon Martin when he died, he didn't get canceled for shit. When Tucker Carlson gets his wrangled ass on TV talking about the coronavirus this and black people that in Chicago this, nobody has anything to say about him being racist. Nick Cannon says some shit that's true, and everybody loses their fucking mind. It make no goddamn sense.
Tony, you got anything to say?
Nah, I'm good, man. He kind of went more in detail of it, but
What about you, Dion?
well, a couple
Oh,
of
my
things.
bad. Go ahead, Tony.
A couple of things. White people been doing that stuff for years. They make a statement, something wrong. Somebody will kind of write a statement for them and put it into their own words to make it feel like they're apologizing. And they've been doing that stuff for so long. It's crazy. Only thing I think about it because it's more them than more of us, and they care about them as far as their race compared to us because they're the ones with the money. That's the only way I see it.
Dion, what about you?
Um, yeah, Fada basically covered everything. The only thing I really got to say about that is, I heard part of that, that interview or whatever, and Nick Cannon didn't really say anything negative about the Jews. So it's just like I feel like all this was just used as an excuse to attack him. I never heard him say anything directly negative about them. Like someone was just looking for an excuse to go at him.
Okay. I get well, because Father did cover. I guess I will say this. I do not like the fact that every time a black person mentions something even regarding the Jews, it might not even be anti-Semitic, just something regarding the Jews. White people like LeBron, he said a lyric or something like that from I forgot. I think it was Rick Ross or something like that, or Jay Z, and I remember the sports channels was trying to berate LeBron about it, but I was like, he didn't say nothing. I was thinking he didn't say nothing anti-Semitic, and
I think
Vada does have a
he
point.
with that thing with LeBron. I think it was a line from Story of OJ from Jay Z.
Oh yeah, yeah. Jay-Z got in trouble for that too.
Yeah,
Since when did Jay
and
Z
then
give a fuck?
the problem I have with the hot problem I have with it, and besides, I guess Hitler, um, and calling them the K word, we don't know what is anti-Semitic. At least with black people, when you say some racist stuff to black people, you understand because y'all, well, one, white people invented half of them, but you know what words are trigger words that black people will
Half,
know, huh?
half.
What are you trying to say?
I'm pretty sure any derogatory term for black people, white people did at least like 99.9% of that. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
okay, that's what you can say. Yes, you can say that, but you know that if you hear it, you know that that is coming from a racist term or a racist thing. Now, the thing about I always say this with Jews, I don't know what is anti-Semitic. I really don't. Sometimes we feel like as black people, we probably done said something that's positive about the Jews because we always say the Jews have their own community, the Jews run Hollywood, and the Jews like own most of the stuff. And I've seen Jewish people get mad at that, and I was like, why are y'all getting mad at that? That's like, are you trying to like unless y'all trying to like hide your money or is that your way to tell us stop pocket watching? But at the same time, it's like most of these companies, you can tell like they're Jewish names. Or anytime when like people get a lawyer, they say, "Oh, I'm gonna get my Jewish lawyer" or some shit like that. It's just like it's like your name is on everything, especially on productions and companies and like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all that. Like people know this. I don't understand why people get mad at that. So, if for at least I would say this with the Jewish community, you should tell people what is anti-Semitic because I don't want people getting because this is different from black people. At least with black people, you know, like some of the shit like y'all could say is racist. Some of the shit a lot of people don't say is just like I didn't know that was racist at all. It's just like that's probably how white people felt about Redskins. It's like most people don't even know that was racist until you tell people. But I don't know unless you tell me. It's like maybe you should tell people, and that's just my opinion. You should tell people what is anti-Semitic, so I know not to say these things. Because 9 times out of 10, black people is really not trying to insult nobody. We'll have a little joke here and there, but most of the times, like we're really trying not to insult anybody, and I feel like we don't know really much. And the Jewish people are a close culture, like they stick to their own, and that to me that's okay. I just like, but when black people try to do that, like Father said, it seems like we always get ridiculed or maybe it should be all lives matter or why can't we get a and then every time we do, like we got in the other races and other people be getting the big slices of cake and we be getting the crumbs. I don't like that factor and all that other stuff. As far as Nick Cannon goes, I really wish he didn't apologize. Sometimes
Damn.
and but this is why also like I followed the whole thing about celebrities not being civil
Leaders.
rights leaders. We shouldn't be looking at them as civil rights leaders because, like I said, they can be bought. I understand, like, what Nick Cannon really holding on to Wilding Out because he done put a lot of people on. Um, the show's been on for 15 years. He's put a lot of people on, and a lot of people have came out of that product. So he done put people on. But then again, you could do that again with Revolt and Diddy. So before even Diddy said that, I was like, I hope Diddy gives him a job at Revolt. That way, that's people looking after each other, and he did. I wish Nick Cannon would take it. And but like I said, celebrities can be bought. Nick Cannon's net worth is like 30 million, and he's probably still getting millions off of the Masked Singer, which by the way, they're still keeping him, thank goodness. Um and a lot of people, you know how a lot of people feel about Viacom. I feel like that's where shows goes to die. And tell you the truth, Wild 'N Out is probably the only thing that's kept people from watching that keeps people watching TV because nobody watches BET no more except for the awards, and we barely watch that. No one watches MTV except for the awards and Wild 'N Out. Wild 'N Out is actually on VH1 now. Who watches VH1 for anything except for Love and Hip Hop, which I feel like it's like some of the worst television ever. And like who I don't know, like what I guess white people watch country music television. No one really watches Nickelodeon like that. It's like everybody's getting away from TV anyway. I feel like he should have did what Steve Harvey did. Go on Facebook Live. Go on somewhere else. Take your brand somewhere else and like go with people that still fuck with you. I feel like you
Social
could have
media is
just.
the new cable.
I know,
Do your
especially.
thing
Thank
on
you,
do your thing on the internet. Get your web show or something like that and keep it rolling. If
thank you, dear.
that's assuming he doesn't sign with Diddy and whatever he has planned with Revolt.
Thank you, Dion. Exactly. Like all celebrities are getting on YouTube now. Like celebrities, are literally like 10 years ago, they used to scoff at people getting on YouTube and all that other stuff. Now they see where the money is at. The money's in YouTube. Now now celebrities are getting YouTube. So, that's all I gotta say about that. Anybody else got something to say before we get on to our next topic?
You know that
So
show? That's on YouTube when they be joining on each other. I think it's from the death.
roast me, roast me.
Yeah, the clash when they be having people in the classroom and stuff. That's a
Yeah,
Yeah.
good ass show, and that's something that he could probably do just on YouTube because that's just famous on YouTube. So many views.
Yeah, but just to go back on the anti-Semitism part, Ray. So
mhm.
basically what I've heard from Jews is that the notion that they own everything is what inspired the Holocaust in the first place. Because in Nazi Germany, there was huge propaganda saying that, oh, you know why Germany's suffering so much because the Jews own everything. You know why you can't get a bank loan because the Jews own everything and they're racist again. Like that was the same shit that they were saying perpetuated the Holocaust and Hitler, doing that shit. So when I read that, I was like, okay, well, no one is denying that part of history, but y'all got your reparations. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all actually had this shit to move on. You have a whole country called Israel, the Israeli state, which is still a huge controversial issue today because of the politics with Great Britain and stuff like that, which is a lot in itself. But basically, this stuff has been debated since like the 70s. Like what's it called, the Jews claim that, oh, we helped Martin Luther King march and we helped found the NAACP and stuff like that. But if you look at history, the ones who are really vocal about the hypocrisy of Jewish people is the Nation of Islam. Mr. Farrakhan has been going hard at them for years and years and years. People have been excommunicated from the Nation of Islam because of it. I know one of the scholars I look up to the most is Khalid Abdul Muhammad, and he basically got reprimanded by Farrakhan for going too hard on the Jews. So it just goes to show you that these are very protected people. You know what I'm saying? And when you cross them, there's going to be consequences. But the issue that I'm having is when Nick Cannon said what he said, he wasn't really even just trying to shit on Jewish people. He was just making the point that when you look at history, there was one common denominator when it comes to conquest, when it comes to colonization, and it is that the European has a very, very, very large footprint in a lot of cultures and in a lot of countries. So that's basically what he was saying. But they brought it back to anti-Semitism because, again, he mentioned Farrakhan, and Jewish people have real big beef with Farrakhan.
You know what's funny? I was looking at this Instagram post. You know that girl K Cola, the girl you like.
Okay, cool.
Um, she wrote something to, I guess, someone, and she was like, your comment is all emotion with no facts. There's a spiritual truth to this that people of color do have more compassion, which is said to be the reason why white people have been able to colonize every group of melanin all over the world, and I mean savagely do so. All you have to do is look at every example, especially Native Americans, or how forgiving people in the media today has been toward their attackers. Amber Geiger victims, Central Park Karen's victims, the list goes on. The reason white people are able to colonize had nothing to do with intellect. It had to do with the people they savagely conquered were a spiritual, compassionate people, and they lack any empathy, period. Then taking over America, South Africa, Australia, Central and South America, and more. If you have a problem with this fact, you need to do some serious internal work because your ego is preventing you from seeing the root of the problem and attacking the oppressed. I seen that, and I kind of like what she said. So this is why I say black people always need leverage, and we need to build our own, so that way we can have leverage to, like, when our brothers fall like this, we can pick them up, not some other people. So on to the
Fact.
yeah,
But to add
on
on
to
to
the
that,
go ahead, go ahead.
to add on to that real quick, it just also goes to show you the power of narrative. Like the way the Jewish people were able to control the narrative and to call out anti-Semitism, that's powerful. That's what got Nick Cannon fired in the first place. So as black people, we really need to build up our infrastructure in terms of narrative, and we really need to prioritize telling our own stories and making sure that no one can challenge us when it comes to what we're trying to say. Because the biggest issue I have with Black Lives Matter is that it's been co-opted. You got all these different groups of people that think they know what they're talking about when it comes to us, when they truly have no idea, and they're just hopping on the bandwagon because they see that black people, we influence a lot of shit, and they don't want to let go of their piece of the pie. They don't want to let go of their piece of hip hop. They don't want to let go of their piece of all the fly shit that we do. So they say Black Lives Matter in order to, keep themselves relevant. You see all these companies trying to pander to black people. You see politicians starting to get on the wave. You see people who usually don't even speak up about shit like that. All of a sudden, they got Black Lives Matter on their bio, thinking they're doing something. And it helps. And you got Negroes that don't know any better, and they fall for the okie doke. And then the next thing you know, now we're fighting for LGBT and we fighting for minority rights and stuff like that. It's like, hold on, this was for black people. When did we ever fight for this type of stuff? So we have to be very clear in controlling our narrative. That's all I got to say.
And on to our next topic. As soon as we got off of our podcast, this shit, I wake up in the morning and we see Jada releases a Red Table Talk. Jada is there, Will is there. They're talking about their relationship. No, not really their relationship. Jada's entanglement with August Alsina, which led to a bunch of memes, which led to a bunch of songs, which led to a bunch of discussions between black men and black women. Gentlemen, how do we feel about this whole situation?
Can I start this one off?
Go ahead,
Go
Dion.
ahead.
And this is just, and before I begin, this is just me. Okay. I feel like when it comes to whatever the hell went on between Jada and August Alsina, number one, I blame August Alsina for this entire thing. I'm sorry. Whoever disagrees, I don't care. I blame August Alsina for this entire mess. Whatever went on between him and Jada, he shouldn't have said shit. He straight up shouldn't have said nothing. Now,
Is there any? Yep.
now, mind you, if you've seen the movie Girls Trip, Jada did snitch on herself. I'm gonna get to that in a moment. But um, that's something that should have been a private thing between them. You know how people are. You know how social media is. Nothing should have been said for starters. Now, on top of that, despite I've heard all the different arguments about how August Alsina was victimized and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? On one hand, I get that, but then again, I can't even. I can't really feel bad for the cat, just for the simple fact that, you know what I'm saying, every man has been taken advantage of by a woman in some way, shape, or form, at bare minimum, once in his life. And that's being generous. You know what I'm saying? So he should have been peep game and known what was going on. You know, the whole thing about how, once she made the decision to try to patch things up with Will, August just ceased all contact with her. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a bitch move. Just for the simple fact of, okay, yeah, you had whatever you had going on with her while, you know, her and Will were going through their separation or whatever the fuck. But at the end of the day, that's still her motherfucking husband. So it'd be another story if you was just like, okay, cool, you know, respect that relationship, agree to just be friends, and then, leave it at that. Whatever went on between y'all, that's between y'all. Let that shit die in whatever bedroom y'all was fucking in. Let that shit die right then and there. Don't come back. What's it? 4 years later, and then spout that shit he said in that interview. There was no reason for him to bring that up. There was literally no reason for him to bring that up. And then he, in my opinion, he just made himself look like an entire clown. Because it's like, look at the way Jada was talking about that shit. She didn't even want to claim she had a romantic attachment to the dude. What the fuck is an entanglement? And then it's bad when the husband is basically defending the side nigga. Because Will had to straight up say to Jada, "Look, call what you had going on with August. What it was. It was a relationship. Like Will legitimately had to like check her. He was basically on the verge of saying, okay, you're not going to disrespect that man like that. And also for all the people talking about how Will looked all like sad and defeated and this, that, and the third. From what I can tell, when Will was, talking about what was going on, the vibe I got from Will was that he really didn't give a fuck. He just wanted to talk the shit out, go over what did or didn't happen, and be done with it. He was just the vibe I was getting from him was just, okay. It's in the past. We were separated when the bullshit started. I heard some people say, "Oh, when Will and Jada supposedly patched things up, she was still fucking August at some point or whatever." But I don't know. I don't know their whole story. I just feel like that shit from August, where he's from his point of view, it should have just been left alone. He just shouldn't have said nothing.
That it, Dion?
Oh, I did say something about how Jada snitched on herself on Girl Trip. Just, the whole trip to New Orleans. Basically, that character and that whole thing was modeled you know, after her real life situation with Will, because she thought they were on the verge of a fucking divorce or whatever. And, the whole thing about going to New Orleans and whoever the dude was she had the one night stand with in the movie, she told on herself. She told on herself then. I don't know who did it didn't catch that, but it's like thinking back on it, wow.
Anybody else want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Um, False prophets, man. Maybe I'm using this wrong, but Steve Harvey um, is that guy that came out with that book uh, that females follow and believe that he know the answers to relationships, and he
He's like a
never
man.
he never really did it himself. and he been married like 4 or 5 times. And here is Jada speaking all this empowerment shit about family and stuff, and you go on to August Alsina. She's way too old for her to know that she was. I mean, she's too old to know that she was wrong for doing that shit with Will. I mean, on Will, even if they was going through a relationship. You speaking all that stuff on the red table. You speaking all that stuff on Instagram about empowerment or y'all bad couple. I mean, y'all a great relationship, but you turn around and do that. And then from my understanding that August Alsina stopped doing music, right? Because his sister passed away. And he got some type of he was like real sick. He got this immune system that's real bad and his body get real weak, if I'm not mistaken. And he was doing drugs. And what it was is that he was talking to Will and then he wound up talking to Jada. So it's like my fact is that she's way older than him. She she played that shit. She got what she wanted, and he came to her. My opinion, he came to her at the weakest point. She took advantage of that shit. And then another thing, I was thinking that with the reason why August Alsina said it because the news article was about to come out, but they put it out like that he broke up a happy relationship, and he was like, "Nah, man, I got." Jada said, "I'm good." They approved it, and then it turned to find out that Will didn't even approve it. So it's like in my eyes, it's like if I'm listening to somebody, I could take good information, but I don't take everything from it. As far as information. I don't believe like they the hot shit when it comes to information about life because I know they don't live their life at all. So it's just fucking fake.
But
That's it.
but see, here's my thing with what you just said though. And on one hand, if she thought whatever her relationship with Will Smith was on the verge of being over, and she was talking, she started talking to other people, whatever, you know, I don't fault her for that. But I do agree with you about the whole thing of taking advantage of August while he was at such a weak state and
A real weak
going through
state.
everything he was going through. That was
Yeah,
some
because
bullshit on
is
her
it
part.
it is real weak. He said that his daughter. I mean, he said his sister was killed. His sister was killed. Then he found out he had a bad immune system and he was popping pills. That's why he stopped writing music. And then when I'm here, I don't know if it's true now. He went to Will and for advice, and then he started linking up with Jada, and then that's how that shit popped off. But
Mm.
first of all, if you lie, first of all, if you taking advantage of situation also because she also said that it was approved by Will and it wasn't even approved by Will. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you lied about it just to get what you want. We all know Jada. I mean, from the Tupac days, she like thug niggas. I mean, she's attracted to thug niggas. And in my opinion, it's like I said, like the prophet, like they got so many people following
Oh.
them that they like I said, they like the prophet, like people go on every word about how they feel about life and what you should do, and they don't even do that shit themselves. Even if they was breaking up like that, you don't do that shit like that. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, if Will Smith would have did that stuff, they would have been in Jada Pickett corner. Guaranteed they'd have been
Fact.
and go, why Will did that? Why he do that? He's a good girl. And that was just like Jada doing well. They was broken up in their relationship and blah blah. Nah, man. You can't go both. It gotta be the same way.
That's that double standard shit.
It is. And I wanted to say that, but it didn't come out. Double standard because that's how it
But
is.
but saying again, I don't the same way. Okay, I only fault Jada for her treatment of August throughout the process of you know whatever the fuck was going on there.
Yeah.
As far as okay, she was okay. She thinking they on the verge of divorce, and she's you know getting got a new nigga in her corner. Whatever. that just is what it is. And I would have said the same thing about Will. He's if that relationship is terminated or whatever, and he was seeing another woman, you know what I'm saying? It is what the fuck it is.
But the thing about it that they said on the talkers that they was taking a break, not getting a divorce or separating.
The-
They was taking a
no,
break.
Will straight up said at the time I was through. I was ready to be done with you.
Ready
Will straight
Yeah,
up
to.
said
but
that.
but they said they was taking a
No,
break. In relationships, you could say that. You could say I'm on the verge of like fuck. I want to, I'm thinking about just giving it. You could say that shit, but it is not done until you actually say it.
Yeah, that's like that's
You
I
could think
mean,
about getting something to eat in the middle of the night, but you just sitting on the couch chilling. You could think of that all you want to,
eh,
but until you do it, that's
yeah,
the only thing matter. And that's when he
but
said,
yeah,
"Yo,
like
we
that,
went
like
on a break."
Will straight up said, I was done. I was done with you. I was through,
you
and
know what that sound like?
just you know,
That sound like saying you're almost divorced. There's no such thing.
Yeah, it's not because sometimes you.
either
I mean,
you,
for me being
either
married,
you
I've
are or
been
you aren't. You do or you don't, or you will or won't you.
because I've been married for 10 years, and a lot of times I bump heads with my wife. But sometimes you say shit just because you heated at the moment, or some situations going on where it's just real sensitive. But do you really do it? You really don't. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I mean, for him to he's saying that just I mean, for a lot of married people understand about what's going on when you say certain things, you don't actually do it. Get the fuck out my face, get the fuck out my house type shit. And then you really don't go nowhere, you kinda just talk it out. But they never said it was over. She took advantage of that shit.
Oh, you want to know what I also want to add to that? So my thing is, this is the perfect example of why you don't take advice from people who aren't married for your marriage because they put extra shit into it that really has nothing to do with the situation. Like I heard so many people write all these think pieces about how Jada is manipulative and how Will's a simp and just a whole bunch of asinine talking points that really didn't have anything to do with the situation apart from what those three know about what happened in the first place.
Yeah.
Jada called it an entanglement, but we all know, hey man, you either fucked them or you didn't. That's not no entanglement, nigga. You got some dick. So you can't really say is an entanglement. Just be honest with the fact that your marriage wasn't working and you found some outside therapy for your issues. And if you yeah, like and because the way she worded it, like she was smiling, she was all giddy and shit. She got what she wanted from that relationship and she cut it off, right? Or at least, she got back with Will and got back to a better place with him thanks to the help of August's peen. So it's like the situation's over and done with already. The people, the media wanted a story that they could tell with this. So she did the red table talk. The media got what they wanted. Black Twitter got what they wanted with the memes and the shit that they was talking about. And now everybody, and ain't nobody really gonna cancel nobody for what the fuck they were saying. I don't think anyone's gonna look at August Alsina and be like, I'm not listening to his music anymore because of what he did to Will Smith. Ain't nobody doing that shit. The
No,
the
they're not.
situation is over. You know what I'm saying? They had their little spat. We gotta understand these celebrities are people too, and they're prone to fucking up just like the rest of these motherfuckers that love to complain on Twitter about how they nigga ain't shit and how they woman ain't shit. But all of a sudden, when a celebrity do it, everybody want to be up in their business. People not keeping
Ever,
the same energy, and then they want to complain. Oh, he got manipulated. He manipulated her. He manipulated her. When you know damn well that your ass would probably be in the same situation if you wasn't so game goofy in the first place. So stop
and how you
projecting these.
and how
Yeah,
you
like
said it earlier. How you said it earlier was just like just say what it was. You got some dick.
yeah,
Why you gotta add like uh a new word or make it all fancy and shit. And usually, like false prophets always want to do that. Fake false prophets want to do that stuff. They want to say stuff that make it feel like they doing something. Like I did this. Nah, bro, you did this. Just say it what it is. But she wanted to hype it up or make it fancy rather than say,
yeah.
nah, bro. I just got this nice little one night stand from this young little hip hoppy bop bop whatever, and got it in rather than saying that shit. But it just was saying, it's like you got to be careful what you educate yourself on whatever field, because just because they rich doesn't mean they smart.
Yeah.
Amen.
Doesn't mean they
Amen.
got doesn't mean they got money or they rich. Doesn't mean they smart. And that's why that's why I started off with the Steve Harvey jump. Like act like a man, think like a woman, whatever the fuck that shit was. And
Yeah, act
females
like
like,
a lady, think like a man.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna wait
Act like
30
a
days.
act like a woman, think like a man.
I'm
Yeah.
a, I'm a, I'm a, I'm gonna wait 30 days until I have sex with this man. You know good and
No,
well, Steve
yeah,
Harvey.
that 90 day bullshit.
Man, he
I'm
did not.
sorry. What
He do
man
that
you
shit. When he was
know?
at Def Comedy Jam, he was fucking the first three bitches in the audience. He wasn't waiting no fucking 30 days. So why would I listen to somebody that's not even doing the same thing he preaches?
What? Not, and then just from a realistic standpoint, what man is going to talk to a woman for 3 whole months without nothing jumping off?
You'd
Really?
I
be
did it.
surprised. You'd be
I did it.
surprised.
Really?
You'd be surprised.
I did it twice.
You, yeah,
Nah,
you would be
bro.
surprised.
Nah,
Fuck
bro.
that.
I'm gonna think she have a dick. Nah, bro. Nope. I'm like, you hiding something. We swinging too?
Fuck that.
I ain't trying to have no Star Wars. Nope. No Star Wars match. Nope.
No lightsabers.
Lightsaber. Nope. Because in this age right now, especially how I grew up, sex is not that important like it was when I was growing up. People just having it, just be having it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, you get yours like a mass, let's bounce type shit. That's just how the generation now is. It's compared to
I
when I
used
was growing up.
I mean, I used to be on that energy too, but then I stopped. I'm like, I'm not doing that shit no more, bro. People too wishy washy for that shit. People
Yeah,
too like it got to a point where I'm just like, yo, like even if I do smash, like then what's next? Because the thing that people like to do is as soon as they get the draws, they done with you type shit. And you know, sex like you don't sex is like super subjective. You don't know how somebody's gonna feel after y'all done get it in. Y'all could have fucked for the
exactly.
first time, and that woman would have fell in love with you because she ain't never really had someone like you that put it down like that. So a lot of these people they conflate feelings. People get dickmatized. People get pussy whipped. You know what I'm saying? It's not just we're not saying it to say, oh, you know, I'm doing it because I'm a square or nothing. But people are wishy washy out here, bruh. You can't
Yeah.
just be putting your penis into somebody
Hey,
that gonna manipulate you at the end of the day, because that's
you
what they
got
do. They
you got so many things to worry about when having sex. You gotta find out if she's a female, right? You gotta find out with STD. You gotta figure out if she's the right age. You know what I'm saying? You gotta find out if she's mentally, because she'll
you
fuck around
gotta
and
have
text you rape. You gotta
you gotta
find
make sure
out
you got consent. Like
Have a
consent.
checklist. You got to have a
Then
whole checklist with you before
yeah, a
you even try this
checklist.
one.
Checklist. And then when you meet a female, you're not even supposed to dick her down real good. You gotta give her halfway, just to give her, just test the waters. You can't have no crazy chick in your backyard chilling and shit. You love me. You gave me the good shit. I love you. Nah, man. You halfway in. You just get out.
also another thing that a lot of brothers are doing nowadays, they're not smashing and drinking. So if they had drinks, they're not asking for sex. They take your ass straight home. There
Yeah.
was like a whole thread on
Right.
Twitter. It was a whole bunch of dudes was like, if we drinking, I'm not fucking. Ain't no fucking way in hell. And
That
you want
I
to know what's
see. That's
funny?
how I was when I was enlisted.
You want to know what's funny? There was a lot of women in that thread. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? I'm like, don't complain, don't complain, because
Y'all made it this way. Y'all made it
y'all
this
made
way.
it this way. Y'all made it this
Yeah.
way.
See, I've said this before, and well, it's probably a different it's probably another conversation. But I was like, all these talks of chivalry being dead, and all these other things, being wrong with the dating world and relationships and this, that, and the third. Whatever it is you feel like is missing, women killed that shit.
Yeah, nah, chivalry's dead and women killed it. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle said the same thing. As a former side nigga myself to a married woman, sometimes you gotta realize
Preach. Talk to
as a
these niggas, Ray.
Hey yo, for real, like when I was a side nigga to a married chick I was fucking with, the one thing I told myself was do not get caught up. You know that sooner or later she's gonna go back to a husband, and just make sure you don't catch feelings. And I kept that with me the whole time. And once we did break up, I didn't catch no feelings. Tell you the truth, she actually called me back and talking about it's so different and all that other stuff. And I told her, go to bed and then wake up tomorrow and then think about it. And she was obviously she was mad at that answer because she was like, "I'm literally coming to see you." I said, go to bed, take a rest, because
Yeah, stay over there with your man.
sit over there, right there. Well, one because I was like trying to court another girl. That's the only. That's another reason why I didn't do it. But But even then, I still like felt like that was the right information to give her. Just like if you a side nigga, make sure you don't catch no feelings. That's the one thing. Second of all, this is probably why I'm not. I know I understand that man was going through problems and all that other stuff, but at the same time, you got to know just to play your role and all that stuff. Just get in and get out
Excuse me.
when it needs to. Second of all, when I was thinking about this, the first person I thought the when I looked at Jada, I was like, she's giving off this really succubus energy. And anybody know what a succubus is? It's like a female demon, and one of their characteristics is to have sex with you to steal your energy and your key or some shit like that. And
Yeah.
I feel like he did
Hmm?
that to that man. That's why that man hair like that, and that's why he had that Keisha Cole hair. And honestly, I think that went to his album. I just reviewed his album. As dope as it is, I felt like some of the shit he was talking about, he was mentioning Jada.
His album came out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, I've reviewed it too. I reviewed it.
When it came out.
came out
Earlier
like a
this month.
month ago.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, early.
I
Yeah,
didn't even
somewhere in
know.
June. Yeah, yeah. It's a real. It's 27 songs, but it's
Damn.
but it's really good.
Nah, it's really good. I didn't skip
It's
anything.
really good. Yeah, it's really unskippable for 27 songs, and I hate long albums. And that's saying something. Yeah. So when I looked at Jada, she came off of this. It was two feelings. One, it was a succubus energy, and probably because it did happen years ago. I think she's at that point. You ever know? You ever any one of y'all ever got mad at your girl? And I don't know if she ever said this, but this is one of those old cliches. You know, you mad right now, but you gonna look back on this and laugh and just laugh and laugh. That's the energy I got from Jada, and that's why a lot of people
No,
like was looking at Jada
that
the
shit
wrong
don't work
way.
for me.
Nah, man. You know what? I'm
You
thinking
probably
it's gonna
hold a
be a
grudge.
lot of females. They're gonna
I
hit
look,
Will up on his
I look
box.
back at certain shit and still be like, I should knock your fucking head off. You know
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
hold grudges. You
saying?
hold grudges, bro.
Dion hold grudges. Dion, you need a hug.
I'm petty. I'm petty. I don't give a fuck.
Nah, you're not
um,
petty. You
Jada,
hurt.
Jada gonna sit back and then she gonna think if we're gonna do the same thing with her every time you see a pretty female come around, because females gonna try to talk to him like real hard. Man,
Oh, that's why at the end of the journey, I was happy because he said, "Oh, I'm gonna get you back." She said, "Oh, I think he got you back." He said, "Oh, nope, nope, I'm petty. I'm gonna get you back." So I was like, "All right, you say people like I feel like people skip that part, but I was like, okay, we'll save face, and that's really good. Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like as Will Smith, he's kind of like me. I don't like my business out there, and the fact that I have to say my business out there, it really kind of annoys me. Like when I was dating someone that was in my division, I tried to keep that shit as low as possible. The only people that knew was like me, a couple friends, Tony, and like that shit is just like I try to keep it from other people because other people like you know when like they figure out you're like messing with someone, they come up, especially like the white boys, they like real belligerent and they trying to get in your business and shit. It was just like it's none of y'all fucking business and all that stuff. So I'm like the same way. It's just like it's really none of y'all business. But ever since things out there, I gotta make sure I set the record straight. So another thing I noticed about this is that there's a lot of bitter women that was like, where men do this stuff all the time, and I was like, no, y'all can't jump on this. Y'all can't jump on this because Will was in the right.
No.
This Jada is the bad guy. Y'all gotta eat this. It's like we understand Future is misogynistic. Not only we eat that, we make jokes about it. That's the difference between men and women. Like everybody knows Future got this misogynistic ways. That's why we made a fucking meme out of it. And every time he does something like she belonged to the street stuff, it's hilarious to me. Or at least except for Dion, because I know you don't like that. But but most of the people when you see that like that Future misogyny shit is a fucking meme. We see that shit. But like I was like, nah, y'all bitter women can't jump on this because Will wasn't and everybody was like, well, you don't know Will was doing the same thing. He said, that's right, you don't know. Because if he was doing it, he's keeping his hoes in check. But since he's probably not doing it, and he's probably was being a one faithful, because let's be real, every time you done seen Will, and I say this all the time, every time you seen Will and you see Will with Jada, he treats Jada like gold. And I
Right.
He
don't know,
do.
and like, yes, he treats her like
He
gold,
do.
like the most precious thing in the world. Like there are pictures where he's just like presented her like she's a fucking Oscar herself and all that other stuff. Like every time like he has an Instagram post about a birthday, he likes this long ass paragraph about giving you 1,000 kisses and all that other stuff.
Let's
And
see.
then he
Let's
talks
see.
about
Let's see what's gonna happen this year on her birthday.
Not a
uh,
goddamn thing.
I heard he took her and Willow on vacation. Like her and Willow's
Yeah.
like on vacation somewhere. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like I don't. I've always said that Will Smith he does a lot and he shows like his love for his family and all that other stuff. And sometimes, in my opinion, I don't think it gets reciprocated as most people think. Like I don't even remember the whole Father's Day thing. It except for the oldest son, the other two, that shit felt like really staged. It's like, oh, I'm doing this. I kind of have to do this. It's just like I don't, and I that right there kind of threw me off. It was just like this man, like you could tell, like Will Smith, he really, really, really wanted to be a father and all that stuff. He wanted to create an empire, and I don't feel like they don't. The kids, except for the oldest, the kids don't appreciate it as much, and that's just like throws me off. And that's why I think it throws me off, and a lot of people throws that off about their family, because a lot of people say none of them deserve Will, and it's like not. And I'm starting to feel the same way. So that's I got a lot of that. And one more thing is, if you're gonna open up to someone you could trust. Like one, I remember when I was in the Navy and we was on deployment, and I like broke up with my girl, and I was like really, really, really feeling down. And I tell you this, if it wasn't for Tony, I would probably be like got on
Gay.
restriction or something because
Huh?
I was in a rut. I was in a rut.
There you go.
Bruh, that's it. Like that like what was that? Like middle of deployment? Middle of deployment was like the
Yeah.
hardest for me. And like if it wasn't for Tony and then like I wouldn't have I wouldn't have made it. I'm just be honest with you. So that's like realize who you open up to and realize like who you can trust because not everybody you shouldn't be open up to everybody. And I don't think Jada I know she likes fixing broken men and that's like her thing, but I still don't think she was the one to go to. Like she really does have this succubus energy and all that other stuff. So that's all I really
I,
got to say about that.
I,
Anybody else got
I,
any words for it?
yeah, I got one more thing. Just be careful what you listen to, what you put in your mind and your soul, what you listen to from the certain people. Sometimes you think they're on a higher pedestal, but actually they the worst for your soul and your energy. That's it.
Anybody else got anything to say before we move on to our next topic?
I ain't judging you. Go ahead, get your money. Go ahead, get your money. Shout out to August Alsina.
Can I get a price check, please?
All
Oh
right.
no, no, no person here, no person here. Oh shit, let me ask you
All right.
Man.
something.
Next.
Okay, on to our next topic. We were supposed to talk about this last week, but you know, we love our black women. Let's just say that we love our black women. But
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to talk about there was like these shootings that's been happening in Chicago where like 7 children got killed in the last 2 weeks that police was saying. It was like a bunch of kids was getting killed by like gang violence and like straight bullets and all that other stuff. And I seen a lot of people having opinions about it, especially the conservatives, and they're trying to like put this on where's black. They give it the whole where's Black Lives Matter speech and all that other stuff. So I wanted you guys' opinions on like the gang shootings and people putting this on Black Lives Matter.
I'll go first. So yeah, I don't like the fact that they're putting on Black Lives Matter because that again shows that the movement has been co-opted by people who don't even really know what we're fighting for. And initially, like, because there's the phrase and then there's like the organization. You know what I'm saying? And most people, when they say the phrase, they're just trying to bring to attention that black people, we are disenfranchised and we are living under terroristic conditions in America. And in order to change that, we have to literally look at the country as a whole and dismantle the systems that are oppressing us. And then, but here's the thing though, and I know y'all have personally seen this with people that are non-black that are shouting Black Lives Matter. When they realize that the entire American system is against black people, then you start seeing people that's pushing back a little bit. Then you start seeing people that's starting to silence themselves a little bit because they didn't know that it was in that magnitude. It's like it's like what we've been taught before. White supremacy dominates all areas of activity, and the purpose of white supremacy is deception. You know what I'm saying? So what you don't understand about white supremacy is ultimately going to confuse you. And I believe that's why when it comes to like our movements and our organizations, we make it a point not to include other people because they don't truly understand white supremacy as it is. As we all know, we have Hispanics, we have Arab people, we have people of color that assimilate to whiteness, and because of their proximity to whiteness, they end up shitting on us as a result. So when they're reporting about things like Chicago, and we've heard this shit before, we've heard all the Tucker Carlsons and the Tommy Lahrens talking about, oh, Chicago, look at all this black on black crime. Why can't black people just get it together? Why are they committing so many of these crimes? And we all know that's bullshit. There's no real such thing as black on black crime. So I feel like this is just another deflection tactic to point the finger at black people who are not monolithic in committing crimes, but yet when we're trying to bring attention to the crimes that are committed towards us on a systematic level, then all of a sudden everybody wants to deflect, everybody wants to say some shit that doesn't even really have anything to do with what we're saying, and nobody wants to have the conversation that's necessary. And we've had people all across American history to try to have these conversations. We had Frederick Douglass, we had Martin Luther King, we had Malcolm X, we had Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is still alive today, but people don't want to hear him talk because all of a sudden he's anti-Semitic. We had all these people to have this conversation. Most of them got assassinated. Martin Luther King wanted to do it the peaceful way. He got assassinated. Most of the people that want to do it, they start off with good intentions, and then as the years go by, they start cooning a little bit, and then all of a sudden now they're not on our side anymore. But now they're fighting for other groups. They're fighting for immigrants. They're fighting for people that don't look like us. So this Chicago shit, it doesn't even really have any weight to it, if you ask me. Because we all know that if you live in a neighborhood of black people, you're probably gonna get robbed by other black people. You're probably gonna get your shit stolen by other black people. If you go to China, who do you think is doing the robbing and the killing? Excuse me. It's Chinese. So there's no such thing as black on black crime. If you're gonna call it what it is, it's just crime. On all fronts, it's just crime. So
Right.
yeah, that shit, it's just a deflection.
Anybody else want to go?
I seen somebody. I seen somebody post. I think on Instagram. It was like a lot of people that don't um, believe or don't understand what Black Lives Matter always say. Well, all lives matter. What about black on black crime? Nobody don't say that stuff when white people be shooting each other or uh, doing a lot of hideous crimes. And in all of history of the United States, they don't say what about white on white crime. They don't talk about it. It just it's mostly just talk about. It's just more of a just a hate on our race. It really is. Just say whatever they want to say, just to put us out and put hate on our race. But then they'll never know we do need a as a culture and as a race, we kind of do need to work on these violence. I mean, the violence is happening in these neighborhoods where we can protect our kids. That's it.
Dion, you got anything to say?
I feel like the whole gang culture just needs to be denounced in general because it just leaves people dying over stupid shit. Oh, you from this neighborhood, or you come on somebody block wearing a wrong colored shirt or some stupid shit like that. And I'm just like, come on now. This whole gang shit got people dying over bullshit. Is getting out of hand. Innocent people are getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? You got these children who probably ain't never did nothing wrong to nobody, you know, getting getting shot by a straight bullet by some stupid fuck that don't even know how to handle a gun. You know what I'm saying? It's just nonsense, man. That shit just needs to stop in general. I've never
I've
been a
always,
fan of that shit. But yeah, go ahead.
my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. I've always, anytime I get into this argument with people, I always ask, what is one of the things you would like to fix about the black community? A lot of people say, more jobs. A lot of people say, the schools, the gang culture, the police brutality. And I've always said there are so many things wrong with the black community that need fixing. It's never just one thing. At least, this like for one, I feel like some of this stuff don't really need to get to big government for us to fix. I feel like there are some things that we can fix on a low level, or at least ourselves, that we don't really have to get into. Uh, we don't need the government's hands in. I think gang culture is one of them. I always feel like we need to um, change how gang culture is looked at, but I understand. Look, when Chicago is a different. I don't know why people always go to Chicago. Chicago is its own different breed. Otherwise, because when anybody knows the origins of the Crips, they were made to help the community. They wasn't there to fuck with people in the community. They was there to help the community against the police. It's like it was made from the Black Panthers. Um, the thing, and I've said this a lot about the Chicago culture. First of all, they've been having gangs since the antebellum era. Most people like since early 1900s. That's how long the gang culture has been there. And I tell people all the time, it's just like it's not a black thing because white people love gang cultures too. Except
Hell
theirs,
yeah.
yeah, I know theirs in the form of biker gangs, the Italian mafia, and hell, even the Ku Klux Klan. I look at Ku Klux Klan as a damn gang. Fucking the police has been looking at. They've been looking like real big gangbangers. So, Chicago itself, it's been always known as a very tough city. Other than the jazz, it's been known as being a very tough city, a very blue collar city, and people celebrate that. Like Al Capone was like the biggest thing in fucking Chicago, at one point, and he was a very well known gangster around people. Like people knew not to fuck with him. Gang culture in Chicago has been around since damn near Chicago has been alive. So I don't know why every time people go and that's their one. It seems like conservative blacks and most of the white Republicans, that's their go to is like, what about black on black crime? What about the gang violence in Chicago? Knowing that none of them would set foot in Chicago and do something about it. And that's the other thing. Like all the all the people would say that because I get into arguments with people like that, and they say, "Well, I do my job here, and like places that's not in Chicago, and I try to make people aware about the things that happen in Chicago, but none of y'all are stepping foot in Chicago because y'all know y'all will get run up and done up in Chicago, and I don't want that to happen to you, but even I know that like if you go to some place in Chicago, they tell you if you're not from my hood, you got to get it from around here because shit goes down around here. That's I know there's people looking at rap songs, but that's like the realest thing people has ever told you. If you're not from around here, and if you like looking unfamiliar, you might as well get from around here because you might get killed. It's a hard, like it's real raw, real true, but it's like the truth. But I do feel like there's always why do you always have to go to Black Lives Matter? And that's my only thing about it. Why do you always have to go to Black Lives Matter? There are other organizations in Chicago that could stop that goes with gang violence. Why don't you like help put money in their pockets or to get them to try to get people off the street? If you know that like most of these kids are like some of these kids are not like in their 20s. I want you to know this most of the kids in Chicago, they're in their teens, so obviously like you need to get to these young boys before they even get to gang banging out in the streets because some of these people they don't have no guidance and they're looking for guidance in the streets. There was a kid, his name was like Lil Yummy. He was like an 11-year-old gangbanger, and he was one of the most feared little dudes in the streets because he was killing people at 11. So it's just that you really like who is like talking to these people and like who is mentoring it. And I'm with Father on this. I feel like black on black crime is a deflection because I know if you go to some of these white towns, they're killing each other. It's like white on white crime is just as uh, bad or just as bad or worse when and then if they're in their towns. Just like the same go if you go to like El Paso, Texas, where most of it's Latino. I'm pretty sure like the gang culture in there, motherfuckers be killing each other over there too. It's one of the things that's it's just prevalent. So it seems like why is it always black people's problems? And I said this all the time. Why is it always black people's problem that's in the media? It seems like every time when it comes to killing something, is always somewhere in the hood or like in the media, and it's like has to do with black people and all this. I don't like seeing these kids getting killed. And I feel like if you're really going to change, you got to change that mind state. And I feel like you really got to get them when they're young. And I feel like we really got to, because there are people that was walking these streets for gang violence, and most people didn't even put news on that. But there was news that people was marching to stop gang violence in Chicago, and they was doing it in Chicago. But it's just like one of those things where I feel like no one cares because it's a positive thing and not a negative thing. Because for some reason, negative thing goes further than anything positive. So that's another problem I feel like needs to be fixed. It's like when we go and talk about the good things people do and all that other stuff. So instead of like just focus on like bunch of conservative blacks talking about where's Black Lives Matter. I can't believe Black Lives Matter is just we got other organizations. If you want if you and to me, if you're really against the organization Black Lives Matter, hype up some other organizations that's doing stuff for the community and put them out there in the front instead of just telling me where's Black Lives Matter. Because most people don't really, like I said, most people they support the slogan, but they don't really support the organization to begin with anyway. So that's really all I gotta say about that.
We at the situation where negative make the news because that was sales. Not, I mean, nothing good. They don't want to hear nothing good about anything for real. Negative just sells. They could say, "Well, this dude did this and he saved this," or you could say, "Oh my gosh, this dude shot up in this," and they would get more viewership. That's just how it is as far as the news. That's why we got to create our own news. We need to educate everybody else and put other people on about what's going on.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
goes on to what I said about controlling our own narrative.
yeah.
Anybody else got any final words before we move on to our final thoughts?
Just one more thing. If people really want to see a change in the way that black people conduct themselves, or like the black youth don't get into that gang culture and shit. You know, it all starts with economics. Most of these kids don't really do that shit because they don't have an incentive to learn in school, because what job are they going to get? You know what I'm saying? These schools are underfunded. These schools out here, they don't have teachers that give a fuck about them. And then you expect these kids to actually instill and principles and values to help them out in life? Nah, it doesn't work like that. You subjugated their grandparents to, poverty, and then you complaining that their kids are, not learning and shit like that when you created the issue in the first place. So basically what I'm saying is, if you really want to see a change, then give people these jobs and make sure these people can take care of their kids, so they actually have a reason to stay home and watch their kids, and they don't have to get into dumb shit. Because poverty is the main thing that makes people commit crimes.
I agree.
And on that note, we're gonna go to our final thoughts, and we'll start with Dion.
Um, have they caught the bastards that shot Breonna Taylor yet?
No.
No,
No.
Yeah, they need to do something about that. How long has it been now?
Over 3 months.
about 3 months.
Yeah, they need to fix that.
Someone playing Street Fighter.
Oh, that's me.
That shit loud, boy.
I know.
I turned my TV down.
That shit
Hold
I
loud
up.
as
can
shit.
still hear it. Nigga, I
Oh,
can hear
god damn
Reed
it.
right now. I can hear.
Oh, I'm using Ken. Oh shit. I don't let
Oh, yeah.
Zangy big goofy ass corner me. What the fuck?
Anyway, Tony, you got any final thoughts?
Mm. This Corona shit, man. Hope this shit. Well, I mean, I'm still on orders, and my shit got extended again. So from what I'm hearing, I'm doing a fucking deployment. I've been on order since fucking March, and they're saying this shit gonna
Shit.
be here. We're gonna be here to fucking October, so it's gonna be
Oh
the
no, you need to
longest.
be getting danger pay, bro.
Oh yeah, they say that shit, man. But I'm getting this BH, and I'm just yeah. But this is gonna be the longest diploma I ever done at home. Um, you already said a Walmart joint, but can't wait for that new Xbox to come out.
Fuck
Can't,
Xbox.
can't wait for that Mulan movie to come out. Can't wait to see that shit. Yeah, man. Other than that, chilling. Can I get a fucking bike? Can I buy a fucking bike? Everybody's buying fuck. Can I get a fucking bike? That's all I want. Jesus Christ. A bike's a fucking $300, $400. Like last year, there was like 120. The fuck out of here, B.
Damn, what
Bruh.
kind of bikes is this?
All the bikes in Walmart, Target, all of them just sold out. So everybody doing a price gauge on that shit, and they they buying them and they selling them for high.
Oh man, that's some bullshit.
A
That's some
regular fucking bike. So
um, Father is on you.
Um, you know what? I actually don't even really have any last words today. Just stay safe and arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
All right, two things. One, I hope Tory Lanez didn't shoot Meg The Stallion because
He did.
he did.
Yeah, it came out.
Oh
yeah,
my
it
god.
just
Wait,
they released
what?
today. It came
Yeah,
out
they
Oh,
today.
confirmed it. It was him.
oh my god.
Wait, the ooh ooh.
Shot her in the foot. He shot her in the foot.
It doesn't matter.
I was hoping not the knees. I was like, I thought they shot her in the knees, like
Ooh,
not the knees.
That's her
Lord, not the,
career.
y'all
That's
trying to
it.
ruin her
ooh.
career with the knees.
Hold on. Let
Yeah, I
me tell
can't
you
see.
a second.
But okay,
Ooh.
Tory Lanez, you're stupid. You don't need a fucking gun, and yeah, you don't need to. Also, second, I think I don't know, for some reason I feel like this generation is not going to have a lot of kids in this generation. A lot of you, I've seen a lot. I don't know. Maybe it's just my Facebook and maybe a little bit of Twitter. I swear to God, like this. this generation of men and women is the equivalent of a high school dance where it's like a bunch of men on one side and a bunch of women on the other side, and there's music playing and nobody wants to dance. It seems like everybody wants to trust each other. Everybody's bitter or something like that. It's just like it makes me wonder how our parents like really like stay through it and all that stuff. This is why I'm happy when I see couples and they're like together for like the longest. Like Tony, he's been with his wife for 10 years. Like stuff like that makes me
Yeah,
happy.
man, nobody ain't trying to get no Corona cat. Nah, bro.
I don't
Stay
even
home if
think
you sick. Come through if you thick. That's all I got to say.
She was like, oh my gosh, that song was so good. Oh shit, now I got the shits. Nah, bro.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's Corona, but it's just like a lot of people just don't trust nobody. It seems like everybody just seems like they go into
Hello.
What?
You just paused. Your recording stopped like 5 minutes ago.
Oh shit! It failed.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. The recording
Yeah, it
don't
says
feel
recording failed.
like 5 minutes ago.
What the
me.
fuck?
Yeah,
Wait, so it missed the last 5 minutes of what we were saying, basically. Damn.
yeah. I think before we got to the final points.
It still says stop recording for me, so I don't know.
Or
It's
maybe
still
maybe
looking
so if you're still recording, then it should be good still for you.
I bet.
all right. On that note, I guess this is the sign for me to end shit. So I would like to
Hey,
thank our
before you
panel.
end shit, before you end shit, I got to ask you a question. How y'all felt about what's name winning both belts?
Keith Lee,
WWF. Yeah.
Keith Lee.
man, my nigga. That's all I got to say. My nigga.
Okay, bad.
I guess they pushing. I guess Adam Cole is going to the main roster. That's what I think. Adam Cole has hold that belt for like the longest. I think he's probably going to the main roster, and
The whole UE need to go. After what happened to Forgotten Sons, yeah, somebody need to take their place.
um, I'm always afraid of anybody going up there. We just seen Shayna Baszler after months. We just seen Bianca Belair after some months. So
Well, they didn't do with Shayna Baszler what they were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Because she was supposed to be the one to dethrone Becky Lynch in the first place, and then
I wouldn't have gave it a belt
we don't.
unless it was
Why not?
because it's too early. I don't.
But
I think there's other
but
people
like
that.
the way she was
I think
tearing
there
shit
was
up in NXT, man,
that's NXT. But I always said there's
it don't
other people.
matter.
I always said there's other people deserving more on the belt than Shayna and Oscar, obviously. And so the fact that Oscar got it, I'm real happy about it. So that's why I said
It
I'd rather not see her with the
I
belt.
love I like Sasha Banks, but if Oscar loses that belt to Sasha Banks, I'm gonna be slightly upset.
I wouldn't because
They
Sasha
gonna get it,
Banks.
Sasha Banks.
Do
So
you
both of them have
know
both belts.
do you know how long's you do you know like how many days has Sasha Banks or was it she like 5 championships? Like
Yeah.
at one point, you know how many days she done had the championship? About 28 days. It's
It
not even a
okay
month.
then if she can't hold the championship, then what's the point in giving her the belt anymore?
So
No,
is
but
he
that
injured?
she don't no, she don't be injured. They just give her the belt back. That's what I'm saying. Like if they give her a
Shit.
title, I'm hoping it's more than a week or like a week or two pay per view. Her five, I guess she's a 5 time champion. It all accumulates to 28 days. Most of the people's title reigns is longer than hers put together. That's what I'm saying. So if they do give her the belt, I hope they don't give it to her like in like 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have a problem with her getting the belt. I don't think she's getting it from Oscar, but other than that, I am. But
I want her to turn on Bailey and take that belt off Bailey.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
barely. She didn't lose that belt.
I like Bella. You know, Bella's been doing good as a champion, as a heel champion. Though.
You should look
Sasha
it
But
up.
Banks is gonna win that championship. She better win that championship. I'm biased. We biased over here, damn it.
I know we
And
biased.
I love Oscar. I've been watching her since before she came to WWE when she was known as Kana. But oh man, Sasha needs it, man. I'm praying. I hope they give it to her. Please God.
I hope it, I want her to take the SmackDown title. But
The way I'm gonna mark out if she wins that championship, I don't even care about Bailey at this point. I just want Sasha to win.
That's
I
the reason
understand.
I want Sasha to take the belt off of Bailey, just because I'm tired of Bailey.
Also,
No,
I
Bailey's
noticed that
good.
Bailey's gotten stale to me.
I
no,
don't
she hasn't.
know. She has not gotten stale. Are you kidding me?
You tripping?
Yes.
You are tripping. If anything, she's gotten better. Yeah, to me, she's gotten better. But I guess Lacey Evans is heel again because like she got into a fight with Naomi, which is weird off of karaoke. But let me go ahead and end this. I would like to thank all y'all for coming out here. I would like to thank y'all for listening. Hear us talk our shit again. This is you know what? Let me just say podcast, and I'm signing out. Peace.